You fuckers already know what fucking time it is. It is time for yet another prediction video. Oh yeah, good morning, that's right. It's me, Uncle Badass, live here on YouTube for you. Um, since I'm doing that, press the subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot, in all seriousness. It really does help me out, and it's free to do. Um, and I also, like I've said before, comment down below who you want me to predict next. That's where I get these ideas from, so I know who you'll want me to predict next. I posted, I believe it's around like 8 prediction videos, somewhere around there. Also, like I've mentioned in the past 2 prediction videos, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a few days where I post multiple prediction videos. Because, like I said, all those days that I missed, including yesterday, I just, I've been caught up with a few things, and all that, so I'm trying to, get back and get all caught up. So if you do see multiple prediction videos posted in a certain, day, don't be, worried or, confused or anything like that. I'm doing that so I can get caught up. So like I said, I want to still get around 40 prediction videos. And the only way to do that is to post multiple in a day, a few times. So just letting you know that, in case you didn't know, or in case you forgot. But today we're doing Colorado's 2025 schedule. Now, like I've said before, you guys already know the drill. I go through each week for whatever team that I'm predicting, and I give a win or a loss prediction. I don't just pop up a record and say, I think this team's gonna go 10-2, or I think this team's gonna go 8-4, or I think this team's gonna go undefeated 11-1, 7-5, whatever. Um, I like to point out losses so you guys know exactly who I have a team losing to. Because anybody can put up a damn record. Anybody can do that. It's very easy to do. If I wanted to right now, I could tell you. I think maybe a team's going like 10-2 or something like that. But I don't. If I think a team's gonna lose 2 games, I point them out so you guys know. Um, but let's go ahead and recap Colorado's 2024 season. Now, I'm I can sit here and almost like confidently say, that most of us, maybe some, delusional Colorado fans out there, but most of us can, sit here and, be somewhat, surprised of how well Colorado did last season. Because not many people were, not many people, most people weren't predicting Colorado to do as well as they did last season. Most people were thinking, they would maybe get around 5 to 6 wins. Many people just didn't think Colorado was going to be that great. But they went 9-3. They lost to Nebraska early on in the season. Then they lost to K State, sort of like around the middle, little after the middle of the season. Um, and then they were in a position to where they could have honestly made it to the Big 12 title game. But a loss to KU, which was their third loss, kind of knocked them out of that conversation, and they couldn't make it to the playoffs or to the Big 12 title game at that point. But they made it to a bowl game. They played in the Alamo Bowl game versus BYU. And they lost that game too. So if you look at the season, you know, as a overall, um, all positives. Like I said, nobody was predicting they would even get close to 9 wins. They got that. Obviously, you look at who they lost. Shedeur Sanders, he had a phenomenal season last year for Colorado. really talented quarterback. I mean, he had a phenomenal year. You look at Travis Hunter too, who they are losing both on offense and defensive side of the ball. He had a great year too. Obviously, he won the Heisman Trophy. So I mean, both of them had a phenomenal year, but Colorado's losing both of them. You look at the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, Travis Hunter, he played both sides. You're losing him. You're losing Shiloh Sanders, who played safety for Colorado. So, I mean, losing a bunch of key players that were a big part of Colorado's team last season. And I mean, if you look at the team this year compared to last year, like offensive line and running back, they weren't that great last year. I don't really expect them to be, that well improved this year either. They did hire Marshall Falk as their running backs coach. I believe that's what position he's there for right now is running backs coach. He was a really good running back. He obviously NFL Hall of Famer. Great college football running back. But so I mean I like that hire. It's just I just as a player he was damn good. But like as a coach, I mean this is his first like legitimate like coaching job. So I I can't really expect anything too highly. I don't think I like the hire, but I don't think he's gonna change that running backs sort of group to something amazing this year. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that in a matter of a year. I know they hired Warren Sapp, another great defensive player. Obviously both in college and NFL. But again, as a coach, I don't know if I don't know how well he's gonna do since this is his first coaching job, just like Marshall Falk. They're both great players. So I mean, if you're talking about just from a player standpoint, I mean they're both some of the best to ever do it. But it's just coaching. I don't know how well they're going to be as coaching. I don't see them improving this team in a matter of a year. For the positions they're coaching at. Marshall, he's coaching the running backs. Warren Sapp, I believe he's like a defensive pass rusher coach or something like that. That's great and all, but I don't see them changing both those positions in a matter of a year for Colorado. But I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. But I mean, if you look at other parts of the team, offensive line, it was not that great last season. It really wasn't, and I mean, it might be honestly the same as last season. If it is improved, it's not going to be that improved that much. At least I would, think it's not going to be improved that much. Defense, obviously, last season, Colorado's defense, sort of the best part about that defense last season was their secondary. Obviously with like Travis Hunter, Shiloh Sanders, those were like their two biggest pieces on defense. You lose both of them. So I mean, uh, I think this year, as far as Colorado's defense goes, I think if anything's gonna be good about that defense, it's gonna be their front seven. That they're a little more experienced than their secondary is gonna be this year. So I think if anything's gonna be good, it's gonna be that front seven. So maybe this is the year where their front seven has a decently good year. But we'll see. So I mean, if you look at Colorado's team overall this season, a lot of changes. A lot of new players coming in. I mean, they did bring in Kane Salter, who I would expect is gonna be the starting quarterback for Colorado. Obviously, they recruited a 5-star in Julian Lewis at quarterback, which I really wish Georgia would have went after him. I think he's a really good quarterback. Obviously, a really good dual threat quarterback. But I think Kane Salter is going to be the starter, or at least that's who I would expect would be the starter. Um, but I mean, maybe Kane Salter don't cut it for a few games, and then they put Julian Lewis at the starting spot and all that. I don't really know. But I do expect Julian Lewis to get some playing time this year, whether that's in a blowout game or, like I just said, Kane Salter, he's not cutting it out, so they make a change and make Julian Lewis the starting quarterback. But it's just there's gonna be a lot of new faces for this team. So I mean, I don't think they're gonna be as great of a team as they were last season. And last season, like I said, the main pieces were Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I'm not saying they didn't have any other players, but those were like their key players on that team, and losing those players, I think, is going to tremendously hurt them. But I mean, but I mean, I could be wrong. But let's go ahead and get into the schedule and let's see what I think Colorado's record is going to be looking like in 2025. Now, you start off week 1 versus Georgia Tech. This game's interesting to me. At Georgia, or no, home versus Georgia Tech. I almost said at Georgia Tech. It's a home game versus Georgia Tech. Um, Obviously Georgia Tech, sort of like Colorado. Not many people were predicting, Georgia Tech to be as good as they were last season. And they sort of exceeded expectations as well. Uh, Obviously Brent Key's been down there in Georgia Tech for a few seasons. I think he's been doing good for what he has down there. Because Georgia Tech they don't recruit at a highly level like most teams. But for what he's had down there, he's done pretty well with it. Obviously Haynes King he returns at quarterback this year for Georgia Tech. I think the key in this game is going to be Georgia Tech's running game. And I think that's going to be too much for Colorado to handle. Like I said, their defense, I don't know if it's going to be that great. And like I said, if anything is going to be that great about their defense, I think it's going to be their front seven just because it's more experience and all that. Whereas their secondary, they're replacing most of it for Colorado. But I think Georgia Tech wins this game, so I think Colorado loses their first game. But I do think it's a very interesting game. But I think Colorado loses that game. The following week, you face Delaware at home. That's an easy win. Uh, uh, so, I mean, I think Colorado gets their first win week 2. Um, then after the Delaware game, you have a road game at Houston. Houston's just been one of those teams that, they haven't done that much. They haven't been that great, really, these past few seasons. Uh, and I think Colorado's a better team than Houston. There's not many teams in the Big 12 that I think, Colorado's better than, but I think Houston is worse than Colorado. But we'll see. But I do think Colorado wins this game on the road at Houston. So I think Colorado starts 2-1. Then the following week, you face Wyoming at home. Sort of like the Delaware game, pretty self-explanatory. That's an easy win for Colorado. They start 3-1 to me. Then after that Wyoming game, you have probably one of the roughest stretches of games. The first game of that rough stretch is against BYU the following week at home. I think you lose that game. I think BYU is a better team than Colorado this season. I just think, Colorado, they lost too many pieces to, beat a team like BYU. So I think BYU beats Colorado uh, at home. Um, then the week after the BYU game, you face at TCU. Now, this sort of reminds me of sort of like a trick game because I mean TCU I've heard that they should be a pretty decent team this year. Uh, and I think if I was Colorado, I would have rather preferred to have this as a home game. I mean, you look at the games after Iowa State and Utah. If I was a Colorado, I would rather face Iowa State on the road instead of TCU. But that's just me. But I'm gonna be nice enough, and I'm gonna give you the win at TCU. But I really honestly could see Colorado losing all four of these games to BYU, TCU, Iowa State, and Utah. I really could. Um, I don't know how well they'll do with this stretch of games. But I'll give you the win at TCU, but I really hesitant about that game. The week after the road game at TCU, you come back home to face Iowa State. I think you lose that game. Iowa State had a pretty good year last year. Made to the title game, faced Arizona State, lost in that, but uh, pretty good year for Iowa State last season. But I think Iowa State's better than Colorado this season. So I think you lose at home versus Iowa State. Then you have a bye week after that Iowa State game. Then after that bye week, yeah, go on the road to face Utah. I think you lose that game as well. Utah, obviously, last season, they had a pretty bad year. Probably one of their worst seasons since, I believe, 2013. I think that was the last time Utah had a pretty bad year, was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the last time they had a pretty bad season. Um, Obviously, Cam Rising last season, he was hurt most season. There's, times where they thought he was going to come back, and he didn't come back. Their team was just a mess last season. One of the worst seasons they've had. I don't think Utah's going to be anything impressive this year, but I do think they are going to be better than they were last season. I don't see them with the coach that they have and all that. I don't see them having as bad of a season as they had last season. Uh, and it's a road game for Colorado, and I think Colorado slips up here at Utah. Um, After that Utah game, you come back home. You face Arizona at home. Obviously, Um, Arizona, they were one of the worst teams last season. I thought they were going to be good. They looked like they were going to be pretty good last season. They just turned out to be one of the worst teams in the Big 12 last season. This season, not really expecting much from Arizona. It's a home game for Colorado, so I think Colorado gets a win here after losing on the road at Utah. Um, then after that home game versus Arizona, you have another road game at West Virginia. I I really kind of went back and forth with this game. I think this is sort of an evenly I think this is sort of like an even game, honestly. I think both teams are at best decent. Uh, I think it really comes down to a few factors, like the big factor I think this game comes down to is who has like the advantage in this game. Obviously, West Virginia does. It's a home game. I think Colorado will be favored in this game. At least that's what I probably expect will happen. That probably will happen as Colorado's favored in this game, but I think this may be a game where Colorado may be favored and not many people expect them to lose, and they lose this game. So I think West Virginia gets a sort of surprise win here versus Colorado. So I think Colorado loses at West Virginia. Um, then you have another bye week, and after that bye week, you face uh, two tough opponents to end off your season. The first one being Arizona State. That's a clear loss. Uh, Arizona State, obviously Sam Levette's returning. They did lose Cam Scatterbo, but I don't think that's going to hurt them, a whole lot. It may hurt them a little bit, but I think that offense will be good again this year for Arizona State. That defense, especially the run defense, I think will be good again. Probably, it could be the best in the Big 12 again, or one of the best. And I would be shocked if Colorado was able to do that much against Arizona State. I think Arizona State is going to win this game. If it even gets bad enough, I think Arizona State may blow out Colorado in this game. I just think Arizona State's going to be another great team this year. So I think you lose at home versus Arizona State. Then you end off your season at Kansas State. I think you lose that game too. It's a road game. Obviously, Kansas State, I thought they were going to be good last season, sort of like Arizona. I thought Arizona and, Kansas State were going to be two pretty good teams last season in the Big 12. And they both had pretty disappointing seasons. But this year, I think Kansas State will be a pretty good team. At least that's what I thought last season. They disappointed me. Let's see if I'm wrong this year about them. Um, but I think Kansas State's better than Colorado. And like I said, it's a road game. I think Colorado ends off their season with a loss at Kansas State. So I mean, what is that? I have you losing to Georgia Tech, BYU, Iowa State, Utah, uh, West Virginia, Arizona State, and Kansas State. So what was it? 5-7, I believe. I believe that's 5-7. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's 66. Maybe I didn't count that right, but I think that's 5-7. So I have Colorado going 5-7. I think Colorado at best. I think the best Colorado can do this season is maybe make it to a bowl game. Um, because I mean, like I said, I think losing Shador and Travis Hunter is going to hurt you very, very badly this year. Not saying you don't. Not saying Colorado, losing those two players. They don't have any good players this season. They have some, decent or good players this season, but they lost too many good players from last season to where I think they're going to be, good this year. But I mean, we'll see what they do. But I mean, there you have it. I got them going 5-7. Be sure to comment down below. Be sure to comment down below how much of a fucking autistic fucking retard I am. And as always, have a good morning.